it all starts to go up, produces hail, potentially tornadoes, updrafts, and that kind of thing. And many times, not always, but sometimes when the sun goes down, they lose just enough of that updraft that it kind of collapses on itself, and you start to get this kind of cool rush of air that comes out ahead of it. So you still have a thunderstorm in progress, but the dynamics of it aren't right to produce tornadoes, or strong updrafts, not as strong as it was. And that's what we're seeing. The storm over the northern part of Shawnee County dissipating. So if you're looking from downtown toward it, you can see that low cloud, that downdraft, or sometimes they're down bursts if it's strong enough, but in this case it looks like it's collapsed in a less violent manner, fortunately. So that warning still continues for Shawnee County until 9 o'clock, but you'll see much of Topeka did not see much rain out of that storm at all. Now, it will rain later. This activity in Jackson County and Pottawatomie County almost undoubtedly will come through as well, but much of Topeka did not see rain from this first event. Now, to the north, we still have this severe storm. This one has hail that could be quarter to golf ball size, winds of about 60 with this coming through Emmett into the western part of Jackson County, heading for Delia. Hoyt, you're in the path of that, and these areas of green here indicate where the winds are coming in from the north and west. That's going to be some of the stronger winds with this, most likely, and also some of the hail falling with that as well. Go ahead and zoom out.
We have a new warning until 9:30. So, Ralph, you can go and continue work on the 10 o'clock, no 9 o'clock. So CBS Elementary, that will continue to go on 13.2 instead of the 13 News at 9, and we'll continue with this tornado warning until 9:30.
Okay, tell me about it. Is it Doppler radar indicated? What do they have?
It is, yeah. So this is radar indicated. I'll go ahead and bring up the bulletin text here. So this is just
there
8
is
miles
one new
west of
tornado
Eskridge,
warning for
moving
Kansas.
southeast at 10 miles per hour. So as with all these storms, these are relatively very slow-moving storms. And that's why a lot of these storm warnings, they're valid for at least 20 to 30 minutes. But as the storm continues to work its way to the south and east, right now Eskridge is obviously going to be the biggest city within this warning. Probably not going to be until close to 9:30 at the end of this warning that this potential tornado would be in your area. But you still want to make sure you're taking your safety precautions right now. Head to the basement, put as many walls around you as possible. You can see right on the northwestern edge of that tornado warning. There's Eskridge right there, and as that continues to work its way to the south and east, that's when we'll start to get into that tornado potentially near the Eskridge area. And of course, after 9:30, we'll continue to see what it looks like there. But Eskridge, you're already getting some very heavy rainfall now. That's not actually the tornado warning. You may get a little bit of a break in between the rain before that potential rotation goes over you.
Peyton, what do you got?
All right, yeah, I want to show you here the wind mode of radar on that storm. We were talking about there's two areas of circulation with the storm in Wabunsee County. The one that we have been talking about is to the northeast of Volland, but what this new tornado warning is for is the southern part of this storm. So southern Wabunsee County, including Eskridge. There is still some signs of that we could get a circulation to develop here to the west of Eskridge. So this is going to be, let me check some of the highways here. This is going to be along K4 Highway near to it, right kind of where the junction of where it comes together. Let's see, this is going to be along K99, so near the junction of where K99 and K4 come together. That's where, if we're going to see a tornado out of this storm, that's where it'd be, kind of where you see the hook here on radar. So that's going to be to the west of Eskridge. Let me see, well, we just got a new report coming in here, it looks like. That's a delayed report from earlier, from around Volland. We were talking about that tornado on the ground. So that's the latest. I haven't seen any new reports, but if there's going to be something with this storm, it's going to be there to the west of Eskridge. We just got a new sweep here on radar, so let's see what that's showing. Rotation not as impressive as this one farther to the north was earlier, and we do have storm spotters on this, so if we do get another tornado out of this, we'll know pretty quickly. But right now, this is a radar-indicated tornado warning, so basically what that means is we're looking at the potential for a tornado to develop with this storm, but nothing confirmed at this time. But if you're in Eskridge, I would go ahead and head toward your storm shelter right now, as the southern part of the storm is moving more in an easterly direction. They're going to expire this northernmost tornado warning. The circulation that we were looking at earlier around Volland and Alma has continued to weaken. So now it looks like our attention is going to turn here to the southern extent of this storm. Let me back out here the view a little bit just so you can kind of get a little bit better idea of what we're looking at here. This is the southernmost storm, and as I was talking about earlier, we've got this northern storm coming in to the northern part of the county. So if you're in Alma, you've been getting in on lots of heavy rain here over the past several minutes. Let me look at the hail mode on here on radar. Southeast Riley County heading into Wabunsee County. This could be some hail. So if you are in Alma, be prepared for that possibility. Some large hail will be possible as the core of that storm gets a little bit closer to you. I want to look at the wind mode here because there's a little bit of a notch
There is
on
one
the
new
backside,
severe thunderstorm warning for Kansas.
doesn't look like there's any sort of rotation here into the western part of Wabunsee County, but it's still here across southern Wabunsee County. If we're going to see any sort of new tornado developing, it's going to be here to the south of K4 Highway, to the west of Eskridge, moving off to the east. Again, this is the radar site, so kind of showing you what's going on. Greens are away from the radar, and reds are toward the radar. So there's some broad circulation here to the west of Eskridge that we'll have to watch. It doesn't look nearly as well defined as earlier, but if we do see something developing out of that storm, that's where it would be. So that's the very latest. Again, we do have spotters on this storm, so if we do get any sort of confirmed tornado, we'll pass that along to you. We'll continue to monitor that, but for right now, it's a radar-indicated tornado warning there for southern Wabunsee County. Jeremy?
All right, thank you, Peyton. So again, we have the tornado watch going until midnight, and we do have 13.1 programming pushed over to My TV 13.2 at this point. So I know you want to watch your favorite CBS programming in many areas, and we have tornado warnings in the WWW viewing area. We have to go continuous with them. It just wouldn't be fair to not cover somebody that's in a tornado warning, especially tonight when Peyton's picked out a couple of spots where it looked like debris was flying from these. Debris doesn't always mean it's shingles or pieces of homes. Sometimes debris can be branches or leaves or anything. Once it's sucked up into the cloud, if the radar is picking out raindrops that are a millimeter across, and then hailstones, and then leaves, if there's a lot of different shaped things, a lot of different sizes, it shows up well, and that storm is only 5 to 10 miles away from the radar. So if it's showing debris, there's something flying in the air that should not be there. So most likely we've had a tornado touch down at least a couple of times in Wabunsee County this evening. So tornado watch till midnight for the area in yellow. We may not see the watch go that long. The tornado threat probably going to die down by 10 o'clock, but the severe weather threat could go late into the night. Now, looking outside now, this is from the Cyrus Hotel downtown Topeka. Looking to the east, we no longer see that lowering and that scary-looking wall cloud that was rolling across the west side of Topeka earlier. Certainly a spinning wall cloud at that. Had that kind of bowl shape to it. You can see the striations. Looks almost like building something in pottery. That's why it looks like that, is because it is something that's spinning and it does get that shape. Sometimes it's obvious. Tonight it was obvious. Thankfully, it didn't rotate enough to produce a tornado. It was in a highly populated area. That would have been very dangerous. Now, looking outside from Menninger Hill or Capitol Federal Skycam to the west-southwest, that's toward the tornado warning that's near Vollen at this point. And you can see almost constant lightning in the western sky from the capital city now. The storm that produced the rotation of the west side of Topeka and likely some hail in the north side of town has almost completely vaporized. That was this first warning. It goes till 9 p.m. Now we have another storm that's making its way toward the capital city, coming through Emmett and Delia at this time. That will likely make its way to the southwest as well. And this one has been showing some signs that the hail is not as big as it was earlier, but it could become more of a wind event as the sun goes down, or the sun has gone down now. So Emmett to Delia, this is likely to be winds 50 or 60 miles per hour with that part of the storm, and it will make its way southeast to Rossville and Silver Lake in the next few minutes. We'll zoom out on this again, and you'll see that severe storm warning for Jackson, Shawnee County in this as well, for the storm that's located near Emmett right now. It goes till 9:45 p.m. And it's mainly going to be a wind threat with this. I'll read off the hails from this. Weather Service says they've got 60 mile per hour winds, $half size hail. The storm is moving southeast at 35 miles per hour. So Topeka, Rossville, Tecumseh, Silver Lake, Meriden, Hoyt, Emmett, Delia, Willard, Perry Lake, Grantville, and Potawatomi Reservation all are impacted by this. And what you're looking at there again is the area where I showed the bright green there. That's where the strongest winds are going to be, and they'll be moving from northwest to southeast. And as the storms become less updraft dominated and become more downdraft or outflow dominated, that will become more of a wind threat. So while the hail might be half dollar size, the threat of seeing, really massive hail is much, much lower at this point with that storm from what I can see on the radar. So go ahead and put up the hail mode again here with this, and the colors, those bright pinks, are showing up again a bit. So maybe half dollar size in the southwest part of Jackson County. That's making its way southeast toward the capital city. But again, it's a severe storm warning for the eastern part of Potawatomi, southwest Jackson, much of Shawnee, including all of Topeka, and the southwest part of Jefferson County. That goes until 9:45 p.m. Pan this over to the west. We have more severe thunderstorm warnings. This one is much of Potawatomi, Riley, the northern parts of Wabunsee County for a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. And that one, we get the expiration time. See what we've got here. That one's going to go till 9:15, a couple of minutes from now. So that one could be extended. We'll see what they do with it. But until 9:15, 60 miles per hour and quarter size hail is the threat with this one as it moves through Wamego, St. George, Bellevue in the next few minutes. We'll see if they extend.
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Pennsylvania.
Peyton, what do you got?
All right, I want to show you this picture. This is from earlier, so this is probably about 20 minutes old or so. This is the tornado that did touch down. As we were telling you, we saw that debris signature on radar. This picture from Chance on Twitter. That was a fairly large cone tornado. You can see it right here. So here's the wall cloud. That is a tornado. So a fairly substantial tornado from the looks of it. Again, that was earlier with this storm. What we're looking at now, nothing of that caliber, but we still do have the area of rotation that we're looking at into the southern sections of Wabunsee County. Get you back over here to the radar picture. If you're in Eskridge, I would go ahead and head to your tornado shelters if you haven't already. We are looking at an area of circulation that's becoming a little bit more defined here to the west of Eskridge right now. This is the wind mode of radar, so we're looking at, again, greens going toward the radar. Those are the winds towards the radar, and the red is away. And we start getting in on some of those brighter shades of color. Again, that means stronger winds, so potentially this storm could be strengthening. Again, we haven't seen any sort of confirmed tornado with this, but if we're going to see one, it's going to be here to the west of Eskridge. This is a very classic signature on radar. You're seeing here this hook echo, and right here, this sort of area of darker shades of red. If we're going to see a tornado out of the storm, that's where it's going to be, to the west of Eskridge. Let me take the radar back here a few scans, and as you can see, this is moving more in an easterly direction. So if you're in Eskridge, I would go ahead and head to your storm shelters. If you're in Harveyville, you're not in a tornado warning right now, but you will want to watch this storm carefully. If it continues with the current trends, we might see a tornado warning extended farther to the southeast. If you're in Burlingame, keep a close eye on this storm. If you're in Lyon County, wondering what's going on. Right now, based on its current movement, it would probably stay north of the county, but we still need to watch this next storm coming in from northern Wabunsee County. As we take this radar, the scans back here a little bit earlier, kind of two storms that we were looking at, and now this northernmost storm is starting to merge with the southernmost one. So we'll have to see how these can kind of interact, and what that might do is start to make this move more in a southeasterly direction. So again, if you live downstream of this storm, southeast of it, we'll be monitoring this carefully. But again, Harveyville not in a tornado warning. Just continue to stay with us here as we continue to monitor this. But based on what I've seen so far, again, our most recent report that was coming up on about 20 minutes ago of the most recent confirmed report of a tornado. But based on the signatures on radar, it's going to be to the west of Eskridge that we might see something touch down again. Based on what we're looking at here on the wind mode, nothing that is terribly strong right now, somewhat broad rotation. We'd be looking for a really tight circulation to indicate that there would be a tornado, and we're just not seeing that at this point in time. Right where the greens and reds are close together, this is some somewhat broad circulation that will continue to move to the east. In terms of the hail threat that we're looking at with this storm, take a look at the hail mode of radar. Let's kind of give you an area-wide view if you're watching our coverage from other parts of northeast Kansas. It looks like our greatest hail core here is in the southern sections of Potawatomi County. This is going to be to the south of Westmoreland. We can take this in a little bit closer. Wamego, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. You could be getting in on some large hail with that storm as it continues in its southeastward movement. And the new severe thunderstorm warning for Shawnee County is for this new thunderstorm thunderstorm that is coming out of Jackson County. We were looking at the one earlier in Topeka, but it's this new storm that is moving into the northern part of the county now that could, if it holds together, potentially produce some large hail in Topeka. So we'll be monitoring that storm. But again, if you're in Eskridge, stay in your tornado shelters for the time being as we continue to watch that area of circulation to your west. Jeremy?
Thank you, Peyton. So here's a live look at that storm that's coming towards Topeka, the next warning for the capital city. And you can see the lowering of the clouds to the northwest. This is looking from downtown from the Jayhawk Tower, the Paris Hotel's Ramada Hotel and Convention Center camera. This is not a tornado threat, but the hail won't be 2 inches diameter, but we're certainly looking at winds of 60, and the hail could be the size of a $50 with that. Looking closer at that same storm from Meninger Hill, you can see the active lightning display, and to give you an idea of the reference here where you're at, there's the Kansas River. The Hollywood Theaters is just kind of this direction, kind of on the other side of the camera. So we're looking northwest from the west-northwest side of the city. So a lot of lightning as this next storm comes toward Topeka, and that is a severe storm. The first one that looked like it was spinning on the west side of town, you can see it kind of spin up here, and the tail kind of pulls in as this thing just vaporizes almost right over Billard Airport and the Oakland neighborhood. But then this storm near Emmett, this is the one that was producing hail up to 2 inches diameter across Onega and Havensville earlier. And now, as it's making its way south and eastward, it's certainly got the threat for producing strong winds, 60 miles per hour. Hail the size of a $50 has been the report what's possible in this. But Delia to Rossville, Silver Lake, you could be looking at strong winds with this up to 60 miles per hour. And again, that hail could be the size of a $50. Looking at the velocity mode on this, the strongest winds are going to be right here in this area that's shaded in green. They'll be coming from the north and northwest. So again, that warning goes until 9:45 p.m. To the west, we have the severe storm warning for this that goes until 9:15. What was that update that just came out, guys?
This is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning for Wabunsee County for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and ping-pong ball-sized hail. So Alma, McFarland, Paxico, Volland.
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning
again,
for
that
Kansas.
Goes until 9:45. So once again, Wabunsee, you have another warning. You've been in a tornado warning for much of the evening. Now you're in a severe thunderstorm warning. We did get a report of $50 size hail in Eskridge just 4 minutes ago at 9:06. So keep in mind that Eskridge, you're in that tornado warning right now, and so you just got some of that large hail. Once that hail gets out of your area, you may get a brief break. You can kind of see the break between the rain, and then you could potentially get that rotation and a possible tornado if there is one. So certainly keeping a close eye on Wabunsee County and specifically the Eskridge area. And of course, we have all the heavy rainfall to the north and east of it as well. But we continue with that tornado warning that goes until 9:30, and we'll be keeping an eye on these severe thunderstorm warnings here for the next half hour. And of course, there may be new ones after that too. Peyton?
All right, thanks for that, Doug. Let's get you back here on the tornado warning here real quick as we're getting in the new scans of the radar. Want to keep you updated if you're in Eskridge, of course, as you do remain under tornado warning. I want to go back here to the wind mode of radar once again. We've still got
just carefully again in terms of rotation right now, nothing that looks overly pronounced. When you start getting in those stronger winds of the storm, that's certainly a sign that it could be strengthening. Let me go back here to the past couple of scans, and what we're looking. Let me look back here on the regular mode of radar. It's still whenever you see that.
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia.
Monitor the storms, and even though we haven't had any sort of new, let me check social media here if we have anything new in terms of tornado. Again, it's past dark now, but we still have chasers in the storm, and you can rely on the lightning if you're out chasing and look at the lightning flashes sometimes and see if there's any sort of tornado or wall cloud. I haven't seen any new report of a tornado just yet, but if there is going to be a tornado, it's going to be the southwest of Eskridge. This is going to be heading toward, let's see, this is going to be K99 highway, and if we put the radar in motion over the past few scans, right now, based on its current track, it looks like it would probably stay to the south of Eskridge, but it's certainly a close call, so stay in your tornado shelters in Eskridge for sure. But based on what we're looking at there, that's where the signature is if there's going to be a tornado southwest of Eskridge. We're still looking at this next storm coming in from the north. Lots of torrential rainfall in Wabunsee County right now. As we look at the wind mode here, this could be some straight line winds around Volland. That might be up near 60 or maybe even 70 miles per per hour. We're seeing some of those shades of brighter red and orange. So that's the potential that we're going to have to watch. If this storm encounters the southernmost storm, it might have a tendency to cut away the circulation and hopefully decrease the tornado threat, but we're still probably about 15 minutes out at least from that happening, and we'll continue to watch that. Let's see if we have any sort of new reports coming in. Still looks like, we still have spotters in the field looking at some rotation with that storm, but no sort of tornado on the ground. There is a report coming in. This is at 9:06 in Eskridge. Train spotter reporting some $half-dollar-sized hail. So again, we have the area of circulation to the southwest of Eskridge, where you see these shades of red and pink. That's the hail core right now, right over Eskridge. And again, that was about 7 minutes ago of a report of some $half-dollar-sized hail. Jeremy?
All right, Peyton, thank you. The tornado watch goes till midnight, and as we look outside live from Topeka, again, we have this next severe storm getting close to the capital city now, coming in from the northwest. The first one just about a half hour ago, kind of dissipated over the north side of town, had just an amazing looking rotating wall cloud coming over the west side of town. Had a ton of great pictures coming in on the WIBW weather app this evening. We've shared a few of them with you. Difficult to get them all on in live coverage here. I'll get a lot of them on the website, of course. But
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for New York.
It's not a tornado threat. We're looking from Topeka to the northwest, almost constant lightning. And that's the severe storm warning that's moving toward the capital city, with winds could be at 60 miles per hour and hail the size of a $half-dollar. Looking outside now, live from Emporia, that's the Emporia cam. This is provided by ValueNet Fiber. And what you're seeing on the horizon there, the north horizon, this lowering, that's the rotation that Peyton's been telling us a lot about this evening, with that tornado that touched down in Volland. And now we're getting the severe storm reports and hail getting closer to the Eskridge area as well. But this is kind of the distant horizon from Emporia, but I'm watching that north horizon as well. From this high up, sometimes I can't see rotation.
There are two new warnings affecting Kansas and
There's a
Texas.
storm across the southern part of Wabaunsee County. The spin located right there in the south central part of Wabaunsee County.
This is Weather Radio Station
Not out of the question that we can see Lyon County in a tornado warning. I'm not sure that's going to happen at this point. I'm just not sure, but the possibility of, if you were going to bet on which county we're warning next, first I'd say it would be Wabaunsee because it's already there, but the next two candidates would be Osage and Lyon. So if your weather radio and your phone starts screeching that there's a tornado warning in Osage and or Lyon counties, keep in mind that for Emporia, that rotation is probably not going to make it to Emporia. It's going to be moving more to the east-southeast. Osage City area, you'd be the more likely area to be concerned with that rotation coming over. So within the next half hour to an hour, well, if you hear the siren, the weather radio or your phone starts screeching at you, there's a tornado warning, don't be surprised because of that spin. But for Lyon County, if it cuts in the northeast corner of Lyon County, you may have the weather radio go off for the whole county in that situation. Of course, storm call would only get you if you're in the actual warning itself. But that's the next thing that happens. If we do get another warning issue downstream, it could clip the northeast corner of Lyon County. It might get the western part of Osage County for a tornado warning. That's possible. I'd say it's less than 50-50, but if you're going to say which county would get another warning, another tornado warning, it would be there based on the kind of reasoning I just gave you. So, okay, so the warning we have coming into Shawnee County across Jackson County at this point is this activity coming across St. Mary's and Delia, and what you'll see right there. All right, so we've got, there's the strong straight line winds. Can you get that radio out of here? There's Rossville, St. Mary's, Delia, kind of in the stronger straight line winds there. That's moving toward Topeka at this point. And again, the severe storm warning for this goes until 9:45. We'll put it into to motion here as I loop it. And the first one kind of fizzled, and then this next one looks like it's not as impressive as it was a few minutes ago. It might do the same thing and kind of leave the west side of town without much in the way of rain. So far, much of Topeka has been just looking at a lot of lightning strikes. But we've got the warning now for Jackson, Shawnee, western parts of Jefferson, and the southeast part of Potawatomi for this one until 9:45. We also have a tornado warning until 9:30. Is that the expiration time on this?
Yes.
Okay, so we have the tornado warning going until...
And Jeremy, we haven't mentioned this so far, flash flood warning for Brown County until 1 o'clock in the morning.
How much rain did they record there?
They've had several rounds. Are you able to get the radar estimated rainfall there?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, they've had several